Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with my 8th of 9 videos recapping or just covering in general every movie to ever win the Academy Award for Best Picture. As I said, this is my 8th volume, so we are up to the 1940s, almost done with this Odyssey. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Number 10. Mrs. Miniver from 1942, directed by William Wyler, starring Greer Garson, Walter Pidgeon, and Teresa Wright. This movie also won the Oscars for Best Director, Actress, Supporting Actress, Screenplay, and Cinematography. Because of the complicated message in the classic Oscars, I'm just not going to differentiate now between like color and black and white, story, original, adapted, musical, drama, the shit with the score. It was just too much. It was too much, okay? I'm kind of so happy now this year that the Academy has gone back to just one category for sound design. Yeah, thank you. Because usually, over the years, you know, you had 2 categories, 5 nominees for each category, at least 3 movies get nominated in both categories. So what's the purpose of this? Anyhow, Mrs. Miniver. This is the story of... I hate this movie. It's the story... World War II is breaking out, and it's about these rich people trying to plan a wedding. That's what the movie's about. That's what it's fucking about, and I hate it. I really, really hate it. You know, there may be harder to watch, more indulgent, more boring Best Picture winners, but damn if this movie doesn't just piss me off. Legitimately pisses me off. I want to be a bit surprised that the whole baby boomer hatred for rich people comes from this fucking movie. No, it doesn't. But, yeah, I hate this movie. It's an absolutely dreadful film. But I will say one thing about William Wyler. Don't think I got a chance to talk about when I was talking about Ben-Hur. He is Academy's most beloved director as far as recognized. 12 nominations. Fucking 12 nominations and 3 wins. So the other one we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video. The third of which that is. And, yeah, man, just for anyone to tie him, just to tie him, Scorsese would have to get nominated 3 more times. You know what I mean? What's his name? Spielberg. We have to double what he already has right now. You know what I mean? And other guys who are really close, like, you know, Robert Altman, well, he's fucking dead. So it's like, yeah, I just don't see anybody ever breaking William Wyler's record for most nominees for Best Director. I would have definitely voted for The Magnificent Ambersons, but I will say both Yankee Doodle Dandy and The Pride of the Yankees are both very good films. Number 9. Gentleman's Agreement from 1947, directed by Elia Kazan, starring Gregory Peck, John Garfield, Dorothy McGuire, and Celeste Holm. This movie also won the Oscars for Director and Supporting Actress. From here on, these are all good movies. From 9 on, they're all good movies. Gentleman's Agreement is the story of Skylar Green, who is a journalist in New York City, who decides to do a social experiment. He is going to pretend to be a Jewish man in order to see how he's treated differently. And basically, his entire life falls apart. Every aspect of his life is affected by this. It's like I said, it's a good movie, but this is still the good white people problem, you know, that you get in movies like The Help. You know what I mean? In the Heat of the Night didn't fuck around with that shit. It has white people in it, but they're no good. I mean, they're douchebags. And Virgil is a bigot too, but his bigotry isn't so much towards white people as it is towards Southerners. But anyhow, I get all sidetracked talking about a great Best Picture winner. The Gentleman's Agreement, I always want to say is a very good movie. It's a very compelling film, and it's just a good movie. And the highlight of this film is Celeste Holm's performance. She's a first-wave feminist, really. You know, just real feminist, a determined businesswoman out there, go-getter, no bullshit kind of thing. She's not gay. There's not even implied that. And I've seen silent movies that had gay characters, so don't try that kind of shit. But yeah, she got some hots for Skylar. But she's just terrific. She's terrific in this. But I still would have given it to Miracle on 34th Street. Number 8, How Green Was My Valley, from 1941, directed by John Ford, starring Roddy McDowall, Donald Crisp, Maureen O'Hara, Walter Pidgeon, Sarah Allgood, and Barry Fitzgerald. This movie also won the Oscars for director, supporting actor, cinematography, and art direction. This is just basically about a mining town and generation after generation after generation of this mining family, and Roddy plays a young kid who has talent to do something other than just, dig coal all day for the rest of his life. And his family, it's about his family supporting this. Even though it's not the same concept, the film Minari very much reminded me of John Ford's How Green Was My Valley. It's a very good movie with a great performance from Donald Crisp. And I should point out that of his 4 Best Director wins, he's the most winning Best Director in Oscar history of Ford's. 4 Oscars. This is the only one of his films to win Best Picture. That's interesting to me. I, however, most definitely would have voted for Citizen Kane. Oh, one more real quick thing about 1941. In my opinion, this has the single greatest collection of directors ever nominated for Best Director, and 2 of which was their only nomination. The lineup this year was John Ford, William Wyler, Alfred Hitchcock, Orson Welles, and Howard Hawks. I mean, come on, man. And you consider the fact that John Huston had a movie nominated for Best Picture that year, too? Shit, it's a fucking great year. It's a phenomenal year for the Academy Awards right here. But yeah, Citizen Kane's the best movie of the year, if not the best movie of that decade. Number 7, All the King's Men, from 1949, directed by Robert Rosen, starring Broderick Crawford, John Ireland, Joanne Drew, and Mercedes McCambridge. This movie also won the Oscars for actor and supporting actress. This is a Ramona Clef. Let's get the character's name. It's Willie Stark, I think is his name. But I can't remember the real guy's name off the top of my head now. It's ridiculous because researching and don't have that research right here in front of me. But he was a Teamster. This is basically about the corruption of the unions, and also about the guy who kind of sold him out and got him killed. Which, again, another movie that a recent movie reminded me of. Judas and the Black Messiah kind of reminded me of this. Situation was like, who's the bigger douchebag? At least in this case, this situation, this movie that we're talking about, All the King's Men. Who's really the bigger douchebag? John Ireland, who sells out and ultimately gets killed, his best friend, or the guy who betrayed their entire cause just to line his fucking pocket. It's a good movie. It's a very compelling movie. But again, and I should just go ahead and say this now, I should have said it way earlier actually, that this is one of the most egregious decades for the wrong fucking movie won almost every single year. Because even out of what was nominated, because here I would have, again, definitely voted for Battleground over All the King's Men. And A Lair to Three Wives was that year too, also a very good movie. Number 6, Hamlet, from 1948, directed by Laurence Olivier, starring Sir Laurence Olivier, as well as Gene Simmons, Anthony Quayle, and Peter Cushing. This movie also won the Oscars for actor, art direction, and costume design. This is the only Shakespeare adaptation, official Shakespeare adaptation, to win Best Picture. I don't count West Side Story or Shakespeare in Love. I know Shakespeare in Love is kind of an original story that's a hodgepodge of a lot of ideas and moments from other Shakespeare plays. And like I said, it's West Side Story is an adaptation of the adaptation of Shakespeare. So yeah, it doesn't count. It doesn't count as a Shakespeare adaptation to me. But what's great about Olivier's Hamlet, I actually prefer his Henry V. which was also nominated for Best Picture a few years earlier. But Olivier's terrific, but he almost brings an almost horror movie vibe. Really taking a lot of visual components from the silent movies and early German cinema, in the way that the camera moves with the music, and the camera almost moves with a heartbeat, literally in some scenes like a pulse. It's a great movie. It's a hell of a damn good movie. But I mean, do I have to fucking tell you what Hamlet's about? It's about the Prince of Denmark. His father is murdered by his uncle, who then marries his mother. Merely a month later, he's visited by the ghost of his father, very Simba style, and then decides to go on a fucking path of murderous vengeance that ultimately gets everybody in the castle fucking killed. That's Hamlet. You should have known that story if you didn't already. Just saying. I knew it when I was my kid's age. But easily, seriously though, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre should have won Best Picture. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It wouldn't scratch my top 10 if I was just ranking movies on pure quality. And hell, even then, ranking them on rewatchability. It'd be high up there, man. It would probably be in the top 10 on both of those lists. And on a personal level, I think Humphrey Bogart as Fred C. Dobbs is maybe the best performance in movie history. Maybe. It's my favorite. Anyhow, number 5. Going My Way, from 1944, directed by Leo McCarey, starring Bing Crosby, Barry Fitzgerald, Gene Heather, and the Robert Mitchell Boys Choir. This movie also won the Oscars for Director, Actor, Supporting Actor, Screenplay, Original Story, and Original Song. Yes, Screenplay and Original Story. 2 different Oscars for the same fucking script. And that's only one of the weird things to say about this movie. I mean, the whole concept of this movie is it Charles? Yes, I believe it's Charles. That Crosby plays Father Charles O'Malley, who's coming to New York, and he has a golden voice, because he's Bing Crosby. And somebody comes to him, or they have the idea of he's going to record an album for charity to raise money for the church. And this is the movie. And it is a very, very, very good, very touching movie. And I loved it. I really, quite frankly, kind of adore this movie. It's cheesy, it's sappy, it's hokey, it's of its time, but it's really, really sweet. Got some East Side Kids in there and shit like that. I'm sorry. I had it slightly confused there with Angels with Dirty Faces. That's a fucking masterpiece right there. Angels with Dirty Faces. I love Going My Way, but it ain't shit to Angels with Dirty Faces. That has Cagney. That's Bogart. That's gangster. I get sidelined here. Anyhow, Going My Way had lots of weird things going for it. Like, for example, it's because of this movie, studios had to start submitting, whether it be lead or supporting categories for actors, because Barry Fitzgerald was nominated for both lead and supporting actor for the same fucking performance in this movie. Which, how that even happened? Of course, he won supporting actor, and Crosby won actor. And there's also, just one more quick thing before I move on here, from Going My Way, is that Bing Crosby became the first of only 6 people to be nominated for multiple Oscars for playing the same character in multiple films. As in, he nominated for the first movie and the second movie. Or in some cases, the 7th or 8th movie. But those ended up being Crosby for Father O'Malley. Oh shit, I probably can't remember them in order. Peter O'Toole for, I believe, King Edward. He played in Beckett. I might be wrong. I think it was King Edward. God damn it. Paul Newman for Fast Eddie Freeling. Al Pacino for Michael Corleone. Kate Blanchett for Queen Elizabeth the first, and most recently Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Balboa. Yeah, got to that. And still, as much as I do really love Going My Way, I would have definitely voted for Double Indemnity. Alright. Number 4. The Lost Weekend from 1945, directed by Billy Wilder, starring Ray Milland and Jane Wyman. This movie also won the Oscars for director, actor, and screenplay. This is basically just a story of a writer, a critic, goes on, who is he goes on a bender that takes him from functioning alcoholic to full-blown wino, and on a 4-day course. And that's what the movie's about. There's a brilliant sequence in the movie where he's hitting a bottle in his apartment, and he can't remember where it was. And he's alone. He's tearing the apartment up, and the whole scene is shot like underneath, where you can see that he's hitting the bottle like in his chandelier or whatever it is. It's in the light. You can see the shape of it in the light. Or if you've been watching the movie, you would remember the scene. But the movie has this great cynical humor, which is key to Billy Wilder's films, and an amazing performance from Ray Milland. And Billy Wilder, I believe, with this movie became the first person to win picture, director, and writer. Pictures and the producer, director, and writer, all for the same film, which many people have done since, including, it's almost like the legendary status. Everybody kind of wants to achieve that. If you're one of those kind of well-rounded guys, like an Orson Wellesian. I mean, let's see, the Coen brothers, Peter Jackson, Francis Ford Coppola, those guys have all done it at the same time, so has Robert Benton. I would have definitely given the Oscar to The Lost Weekend. But for a runner-up, let's say Mildred Pierce. Very good thriller, and Michael Curtiz's follow-up to a movie we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Number 3, Rebecca from 1940, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Laurence Olivier, Joan Fontaine, George Sanders, Judith Anderson, Nigel Bruce, and Reginald Denny. This movie also won the Oscar for cinematography. So there you go, Spotlight. I found another one for you. Another one. Spotlight, Greatest Show on Earth, and Rebecca. 3 Best Picture winners that only won 2 Oscars. Was it the Best Picture? I mean, really? This is, of course, the story of Max de Winter, legendary character, literary character at least. A very harsh, very crude man, set in his ways, a widower. He remarries and brings his new wife to his luscious castle, where she literally lives in the shadow of his dead wife's presence. If you've never seen Rebecca, I kind of don't want to spoil anything about it for you because it's great. And I've had the benefit of seeing it without knowing De Winter's true motivations or his true feelings about what had happened in his past. But it's great. It's a great story, and Olivier is amazing in it. And it's the only Best Picture winner Alfred Hitchcock ever made. Sure, it was work for hire, but if you hire Alfred Hitchcock to do a job for you, you're gonna get better than a guy who has you're probably gonna get better work than a guy who actually has a passion for the fucking project because you hired Alfred Hitchcock. Ad. I want to hear your goddamn ad. I want your goddamn athlete's foot ad in my video. Fuck you. Anyhow. Also, there was, I even intentionally avoided the Netflix remake that came out last year starring Hannibal Lecter. Armie Hammer. That's his name. I also, however, would have still voted for The Grapes of Wrath. It is a bit of a masterpiece, And, come on. Henry Fonda's Tom Joad, that's just Hollywood greatness right there. That's the shit. That's shit dreams are made of, kid. Excuse me. Number 2. Am I number 2 already? I am. Number 2. The Best Years of Our Lives from 1946. Directed by William Wyler, starring Frederick March, Myrna Loy, Dana Andrews, Teresa Wright, and Harold Russell. This movie also won the Oscars for director, actor, supporting actor, screenplay, score, and film editing. This is just the story of 3 different veterans coming home to their small town and seeing how the life that they left is gone in one way or the other. You know, it's irreparable. War changes people, changes communities, and very much similar themes to The Deer Hunter. And the fact that this movie turns 75 years old this year and is every fucking bit as relevant as it was the day it came out sucks. To be honest, that just fucking sucks. Harold Russell, of course, was a real-life U.S. veteran who lost his hands in World War II and played a veteran, double amputee veteran in this movie. Received a second honorary Oscar just for bravery of being of not letting the disability, the injury, stop his life. You know what I mean? You survived, live. And it's encouraging, it's inspiring, it's a wonderful movie. And did I mention it stars fucking Frederick March, one of the greatest actors who ever stepped foot in front of a goddamn camera. It's a great movie. It's a magnum opus of William Wyler's career, not Ben-Hur, this film, The Best Years of Our Lives. A film, I mean, with that title, it has to be something. It has to be something special. You know what I mean? Or it's going to be something, or it's either something epic and great, or it's a fucking soap opera. Even that being said, however, I still would probably have voted for It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, come on. Jim Stewart. And my number 1, best movie of 1943, nay, the best movie of the 1940s, possibly the best film of all time. Certainly, probably, the most beloved. I'm talking about Casablanca from 1943, directed by Michael Curtiz, starring Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Claude Rains, Paul Heinried, Conrad Veidt, Sidney Greenstreet, and Peter Lorre. Fuck, man. I remember there was a poster hanging up in our house when I was a kid for this movie. This is a great movie. It might be my favorite film script of all time. I mean, it's just unbelievable wit and timing and rhythm. The film, The Usual Suspects, is named after a line in this movie. That's how great this fucking script is. That's how great this fucking movie is, man. This is probably the most mentioned, most referenced movie in movies ever. It's fucking Casablanca. It's a story of Bogart plays Rick Blaine. He's an expatriate who, living in Morocco, he has his own bar. When an old girlfriend from Paris shows up with her on the run, a fugitive of war fugitive, but not a Nazi or anything, husband, and he's conflicted. He's done with this shit, but he loves this woman, and even though they cannot be together, he can't just watch her lose everything she has. It's fucking Casablanca. It is greatness. It is greatness amongst greatness. It is the movie people should watch. It's just, watch it. Fucking watch it. Fucking see Casablanca. You've never seen it. My wife has never seen it. And she actually bought me a copy of it on DVD, I think for Christmas, when we still haven't really just gotten around to it. Because we don't want to watch with the kids running around and screaming. We want to sit down and watch it. It's Bogart. But yeah, man, she works for... If you have kids, you know. But anyhow, yeah, come on. It's Casablanca. When you saw that the ranking the movies of the 1940s, you knew how this video was going to end. Anyhow, of course it should have won Best Picture. But just for the sake of a runner-up, watch On the Rhine. Really good movie. Really, really great thriller. Anyhow, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.